Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. In this video we're going to be building a motel in the world of Oasis Springs in anticipation of the brand new Sims 4 for rent expansion pack that is being released in December. So how have you all been? It's been a minute. It's been a very long minute since I was here. I think my last upload was the last time I checked it was almost 11 months ago, so it might even be a year now, which is crazy. Like, where is this year gone? I can't believe it's almost the end of November and we're almost at Christmas again. So yeah, how have you all been? How have you all been doing? If I'm honest, I haven't been here, not because I lost interest in YouTube, because this is honestly something that I really want to get into as much as I can, but I kind of lost a little bit of interest in The Sims itself. I've had a lot going on in my personal life, and my Sims had to just take a little bit of a step back, unfortunately, but we're back, and seeing the new trailer and everything for the new pack has really got me excited and really got me interested in starting to build again. So I jumped into my game and I thought, you know what, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to make a Oasis Springs kind of grungy, run-down motel, and honestly I'm so proud of the way that this turned out. So I've got the majority of the outside of this build done now, so this is sort of the main shell. There are going to be a few alterations as we go, because me being me, I can never make up my mind on what looks good and what doesn't. But yeah, I don't know about anybody else, but does anybody else have this thing where they'll sort of play Sims for months, like maybe 3, 4, 5 months, and all of a sudden you don't touch it for ages? Is that just me, or do other people do that? Because my sister's exactly the same. Like, we both have played The Sims since we were little, and you sort of have these like spurts of love for this game, and then the next second you're like, meh, like, it's alright, I'll come back to it eventually. But yeah, that's what I kind of had, and even though I have so many ideas, like I'm on Pinterest and I'm constantly like tagging ideas and pinning stuff on there, I just couldn't get myself back into this game. But we're here and we're building an Oasis Springs motel. So this build is on the Cacti Casa lot, I believe, which is in the Parched Prospect area of Oasis Springs. Now I believe the roomies used to live on this lot, but I've never really had a big love for the roomies. They don't seem to do much for me, and I see them around in my game, but they're just not a family that really excites me. So we got rid of them, we bulldozed their house, sorry roomies, and we're building this on there. So ironically, believe it or not, I had a quick Google search and I went onto the Sims wiki in relation to this neighbourhood, and this lot is actually the most expensive lot in this area, and here we are building like this grungy, neglected lot. But there you go, these things happen, and they happen the way they're supposed to. So this motel is set over 2 floors, as you can see, and it's going to have a maximum of 8 units, so 8 apartments or rooms or whatever you want to call them. I did see the sort of the unit trailer where the Sims team was showing off how many units you could have on one lot, and I think it's 6, which is a shame. I mean, 6 is fine, but I started building this in excitement and then didn't realise till after that we could only build 6. So 2 of these lots, technically, if you were to use this lot, will be unusable. I don't really know how the system works yet, but I'm sure we'll have a bit more information soon. But 5 of the units are decorated within reason. You know, I've put the main amenities down: kitchens, bathrooms, TVs, you know, stuff that we're going to actually need. And then 3 of them have just got moving boxes. All the rooms are set out, the walls are in there, and all the carpets and the wallpaper, but the rest of it is sort of up to you. I wanted to give a little bit of a variety of how you wanted to use this lot, and if you wanted to decorate a room for yourself, you can totally do that, or if you just want to jump straight into this lot and straight into the gameplay, you can do that as well. So I was going for a bit more of, well, it's kind of a mixture really. I wanted it to be, in my head I had an idea of a landlord owning this place. Maybe it's even the land grabs. There's an idea, maybe it's the land grabs, I don't know, we'll find out. And they kind of focus mostly on the exterior of this lot. They have a lot of trees growing, a lot of nice signs. As you can see, there's sort of a new sign going up there. The old one's still in place because maybe they haven't gotten round to getting rid of the old one yet. And they sort of spend a lot of time trying to make the front of this lot look really nice and inviting and friendly. But actually, once you sign into a room, you pay your dues, and suddenly you're like, oh no, this is not what I was signing up for. So I was going for like a really grungy, not necessarily mouldy, but quite grungy, neglected kind of build. It's more run down. And I'm so glad that we can start to have these kind of builds in The Sims. I feel like The Sims is very sort of perfect, and you've got all these grand houses. Even in like the more, like even in Werewolves and stuff, they have these grand builds, and you're like, we just want something that's a little bit more neglected, I guess. And it's nice to have that sort of representation in the game as well. So you'll notice as we go into the interior decoration, not necessarily on the outside, but definitely on the inside, you'll see a lot of cracks in the walls. You'll see where wallpaper has fallen off the walls, and you can start to see the boards on the walls as well. There's spillages and stains on some of the carpets and on some of the kitchen floors. There's stains on the ceiling. And, basically the owner is trying to get you to come into this place and go, yeah, I want to stay here. Even if it's just for one night, he gets you money. They get you money. They get what they want. But then you go into the house and you're like, oh no, this is awful. It's all run down and neglected. And the decorated rooms definitely have more rugged furniture. There's no sort of perfect furniture. I wanted to try and use as much low-end stuff as I could. And also I noticed in the gameplay trailer that they're going to start adding a few more lot traits into this as well. So we're going to start having insect infestations. We're going to have issues with mould. And imagine having mould in this lot. And you are Sims having to deal with consistent mould and roaches. And I know it sounds awful that I'm so excited about these things, but I love the representation. But not all properties and not all people live the same way. Not all people have money. Not all people have, the means to live well. And as much as I'd love for everyone to have the same opportunities, the same amount of money so that everyone could live as well as they want to or as well as they need to. Unfortunately, that's not the case. So I love the representation of this in this game. And I also love the addition of challenges and trying to make your Sims lives just a little bit more difficult. I feel like sometimes it's too easy, and I feel like that's where the game can potentially get a little bit boring sometimes, and I lose interest because I want things to go wrong. I want, a meteor to come down and squash my Sim, or I want them to randomly lose their job. They don't have to do a chance card to lose their job, but and I want the storytelling opportunities to be there. For example, like this, perhaps your Sim's partner cheated on them and they got caught, so they got kicked out of the house and they've got no money. So where are they going to go? They're going to have to work, and they're going to have to stay in a motel for a couple of Sim weeks until they get their feet back off the ground. Or maybe you've just got a homeless Sim who's down on their luck, and maybe they've gone skip diving and they've managed to find some simoleons or something that they could sell, and then they're able to find a home for themselves. And yeah, it's not perfect, but it's nice to have a different style of build in the game. Or maybe you've just got Sims who are just from a humble situation. Maybe they don't need all the glamour of life. Maybe they don't feel that they need to have a ton of money or a ton of possessions to be happy. And maybe you've got a parent Sim and a child Sim, or maybe a mother or a person has just had a baby, and perhaps maybe it's a teenager and they've had to move out of their parents' house. And as awful as these situations are, they do happen. And maybe your teenager moves in here and she's only got a little bit of money, or they've only got a little bit of money, and they're going to school and they're doing a part-time job, and maybe one of their neighbours comes over to help babysit, and it's those sort of storytelling opportunities that I love, because it really gets your mind going as to what you can achieve in this game. So as you can see, I've done the majority of the outside. As you can see, there's lots of palm trees, lots of rocks, lots of pretty flowers. The car park has come together, the pool area has come together. I really struggled with trying to get the right wallpaper on the outside of this build. I really struggled to try and make it look the way I wanted to. This brick is great, but it just didn't seem to fit well into this kind of neighbourhood. So we do switch it up and change a little bit. There's the staining on the top. You've got the sign again for the motel. And also lots of bins outside. There are 2 skips around the corner of the reception building, but I thought putting some trash bins outside of each of the houses as well would give it a little bit more of, you know, a realistic feel, I guess. So here we go. I'm just changing the outside of this wallpaper now. I end up going for a green siding, which is that one just there, and then sort of a lighter orangey kind of brick. Not this one, it'd be the next one that pops up because I'm so indecisive. But yeah, just making it look a little bit more attractive from the outside. Has anyone else got any sort of like neglected, rundown hotel stories? Because I remember when me and my boyfriend were going away for a holiday, he probably idiotically trusted me to book in a hotel that we could stay at. It was literally just for the one night because we were going abroad anyway, so it was literally just to stay in a place close to where we were travelling from. And I went on this booking website and I found a place, and it wasn't exactly, I mean, it didn't look bad from the outside. The photos were alright. I looked at the reviews and they seemed okay. A couple of people were like, oh, you know, there's a bit of building work going on. I was like, oh, that's fine. It's just literally for one night. So I booked it. It was pretty cheap. And we got there and the outside looked fine, but we went inside and it was awful. It was horrible. There was all the carpet was cut up. We went into the room, there was staining on our carpet floor, the window wouldn't open, the bed was hard, there was like weird stainy spots everywhere, the shower wasn't clean. Oh, it was I literally walked into this room and I just wanted to cry. It was awful. And we ended up staying there. My boyfriend was like, oh, should we go like stay somewhere else? And I was like, no, we might as well. We paid for it now. We might as well stay here. It's only for one night. Anyway, he slept like a log as he always does. And I'm just laying awake in this bed thinking, oh my God, like I've just ruined this trip because of this horrible hotel. Anyway, it was fine. They gave us like a little packed breakfast to take with us the next morning, but I probably wouldn't stay there again. But there are places like that, and unfortunately that's just the way things are. Like they were in the middle of renovation work, so that's what they were saying. It's because they were having everything redone. They were taking over the hotel, which I guess is fine, but like it wasn't great. It really wasn't. And I'm just, if you have any like awful hotel stories that you stayed in, leave me a comment down below. I'd love to hear them because I think they're just so funny. So we're moving on to the inside of these apartments now, or units. And as you can see, I've sort of, this wallpaper is from, I think it's from City Living, but it's got sort of that mouldy aspect, just rained by the bottom, so there's a bit of damp in the build. And I love stuff like this. It really, really shows off the storytelling aspect of this. So we're just getting the kitchen in now. All of these rooms are pretty much the same sort of design. I've done a few rooms like you'll see with a couple of platforms and stuff in them to sort of differentiate a little bit because I didn't want it to all be too samey. But yeah, they've all got kind of the same amenities in it. I sort of wanted to try and keep it as simple as I possibly could because I didn't want to go overboard and then leave no room for people who wanted to move in and sort of switch stuff around or add more stuff in. So I'm really excited for this pack. So we're getting, by the looks of it, we're getting quite a lot of stuff in it. So we're getting multi-unit dwellings, obviously, which from what I've heard, you can have, like I said, up to 6 units on one lot, and then up to 8 Sims. That's including pets and horses, if you wanted to try and get a horse into an apartment. But up to 8 Sims. So total, it would be like 6 units. It's like 42 Sims or something like that. Is that right? That's a lot, isn't it? How are they going to... I'm sure we'll find out. But it's going to be really good. And then obviously it seems to be telling a story of more community-based gameplay. So lots of community spaces. We've got the night market where you can go and meet new Sims and try new things, try new foods. And it just looks so pretty. And then obviously you've got the landlord aspect of it as well. So, for example, like I said earlier, you could have the land grabs potentially own this, and maybe, all the money they earn on this goes on their own home. And let's be honest, the land grabs aren't exactly the most honest family in the game. So I can imagine them sort of owning this lot and maybe a couple of others, and all the rent money they use sort of goes on their lavish lifestyle and, keeping themselves up together, when really they should be focusing the money on making this place look decent. But there's no reason why you couldn't. Maybe you could have your own landlord and take this place over and turn it into a really fun lot and have all the rooms redone and make them look really luxurious. And there's so many opportunities with this, and the new world as well. I'm just so excited to I literally said earlier that I was trying not to get my hopes up, and here I am talking about it like it's the best thing in the world. Let's hope that it is, because I feel like after growing together, I really wanted something that was a little bit different. I love family gameplay, and I know there's so many players out there that love family gameplay, but I wanted something that was that sort of drew inspiration from the previous games. Like, for example, The Sims 2 Apartment Life was incredible. There were so many opportunities in that, so many storytelling aspects in that, and I'm so glad that they're trying to bring that back into the new generation. So yeah, as much as I'm not excited, I also am very excited as well. So with this mirror, as you could just see, I'm using the tool mod to rotate the mirror, because originally it's meant to be a vertical mirror, so it's like a full body mirror, and I didn't like the idea of that. But I did like the crack that was on the left hand side. So what I did was just use the tool mod and rotated it 90 degrees, and then use the move tool to sort of just squidge it into position. And I think it looks really good. I think it matches the aesthetic of the room really well. Just going back and speaking, I know we were just talking about the Sims 2 games, and just speaking of all the previous Sims games, is there anything that you'd want the team to bring into the Sims 2 game? I mean, I know there's a lot of discussion regarding cars and the open world, and if I'm honest, I don't know if the open world is going to be a thing, just because the way the game is coded. I think bringing in an open world concept now is going to be extremely difficult. I mean, I could be wrong. The team could pull it out of the bag and give us that open world that we've always wanted. But I don't know. I mean, if you think this game is almost 10 years old now, and even though it still looks fresh and new, the base code of this game is getting old. If we're honest, it's 10 years old. I think this is probably the oldest Sims game to still be going. So I don't know if they'd be able to do that. I don't know if that would be a thing. Maybe for cars, I guess I understand why some players would want those. It's another aspect of realism for players, but I guess again with the closed worlds, is it going to add anything to the game by having them? I mean, I guess they could be like The Sims 2, where the Sims got into the car and drove off the lot, and then a loading screen hit and took you to the place where you were travelling to, so there's that. Or maybe if we were to have cars that were more activities or hobbies, like fixing up a car or a motorbike on the driveway, or the kids playing in the front seat and turning the steering wheel, or maybe a new woohoo spot. I guess there's opportunity there, but I don't know if I'd want that as a whole pack. I feel like a stuff pack is too small, and then a game pack is too much, and then definitely an expansion pack. You'd want more than that in an expansion pack. Well, I would anyway. I'm speaking as though I'm speaking for everyone, but I feel like expansion packs should be packed full. And these last couple of expansion packs we've had for The Sims 4 have been great. Growing Together was fantastic. I kind of really enjoyed Country Living. I haven't done much with it. And then obviously we've got the Sims 4 for rent as well. So they're really pulling the expansion packs out of the bag at the moment. But I feel like previous ones we've had just have lacked a little bit. So I don't know, maybe bringing back the hobby system would be a good way of sort of bringing everything that people want together. But I'm not sure. Let me know. Leave me a comment and let me know what things are on your wish list for this game, because I love to know. I love to listen to people's thoughts and ideas about the game and their creativity. And yeah, it's just something that's really interesting. So leave me a comment if you can think of anything that you'd love to have in this game that's not already in it. So just speaking a bit more about the room that we're currently doing, or the unit we're currently doing. So compared to the one we just did with all the cracks on the walls and the plaster being knocked off, this one, even though it's still not like very high budget, it looks a lot nicer than the previous ones. I wanted to give a little bit of variety as to what rooms were available, so that you could, it doesn't feel like you're moving in here and every single room's exactly the same. Like, I wanted to give a little bit of variety, a little bit of a difference, so you can go through and be like, oh, would that fit my sim, or does this fit their personality better? So this unit, even though it's still slightly on the lower scale, it looks fresher than the other apartments that are available. I did also put a cat bowl in this one, so that's another question. I'm assuming that we can add pets. Surely we can have pets in an apartment. I remember seeing the gameplay trailer. I think it was yesterday. I don't really remember. But there was like a thing on the landlord. There was like an option on the landlord system pop-up that you could add different rules to each apartment. Well, I don't know if it's actually each apartment or the whole lot. I mean, I'm hoping it's individual apartments, but you could add stuff like you're not allowed to have ghosts, or you're not allowed to be noisy, or you're not allowed pets and stuff like that. And I was like, I don't think the pet one was on there, but because there was only like 5 ones, because I'm assuming they're only using the new expansion pack and then the base game. So I'm hoping if you already have expansion packs installed into your game, they're going to offer us different options there. But again, I don't know, I'm speculating. I love to discuss these kind of things and talk about what's potentially going to be available. So here we are. This is the room that I was mentioning that had a slight platform on it. So this is actually one of the smaller rooms. So rather than having a split out bedroom and bathroom, this is actually, I suppose, technically more of a studio apartment. So you've got the bedroom up on the platform, and then the bathroom I've moved to the same height as the bedroom, and then the lower floor is where the kitchen and the sitting room are going to be, or lounge, or whatever you want to call it. I call it sitting room because I'm English, but so yeah, and I wanted to add that little bit of separation, a little bit of a difference compared to the other rooms. So this one's sort of got a higher level. And then, like I said, these rooms are so small that I had to try and be creative with the way that I was decorating them. And again, I wanted to leave them as sort of minimally decorated as I can, because I want you to be able to come in here and decorate to your own tastes. I mean, of course, you could just, bulldoze everything and start all over again, or you could empty your room and start all over again. That's completely up to you. But I wanted to try and leave it as open as I possibly could. So here's the kitchen going in. Again, this is a slightly, compared to the first one we were decorating, a slightly more upscale compared to the other one, but still using quite cheap furniture, cheap counters, cheap fridges and stuff like that. If you're wondering where that table is from, I believe it's from the Eco Lifestyle pack, and I might be wrong, but I think it's one of the tables and items you can make from like the fabricator machines or something like that. If I'm completely honest, I've never actually used those machines. I'm way behind on trying expansion packs. Like, I buy the expansion pack pretty much as soon as it comes out to build with, but then I don't actually play with the gameplay for like ages, and I need to add a load of mods in, and I like to try and make my worlds all up to date, so it's a whole big thing, and it takes me forever to actually get around to any gameplay. I'm pretty sure the last time I actually played any proper gameplay was with pets. I don't think I've even done seasons yet. I haven't done a full loop of every single season. I normally start my game in like the summer, and then I go through fall, and by the time I get to the end of fall, I'm like, oh, I want to go and build again now. So I've never actually done a loop of like summer, fall, winter and spring, which sounds really awful now that I say it like that, because it's coming up to Christmas now. I should know how Christmas works in The Sims 4. But I know there's been so many videos and stuff of like people comparing the different seasons from the different games, and honestly, I try my best to avoid any spoilers that might come up from those videos, because even though I would probably never get around to the gameplay, I still don't want to spoil it if I was to get around to the gameplay. So I haven't done anything really with eco lifestyle. Journey to Batu is basically non-existent to me. We're not going to go there. That pack does not even exist in my mind. But yeah, like, let me know, do you, like, anybody who builds in this game, or even does play but just likes to spread the gameplay out a lot, have you like whizzed through each expansion pack as quickly as you possibly can and like learn everything there is to learn about that pack, or are you taking your time and you sort of exploring things and having things pop up? And because I feel like even now, like there was a screenshot I posted to my Twitter the other day of I was testing out a home that I've built for Bob and Betty Newbie because I love those two. Also, just going off on a tangent, did you know that Brandy Broke is Bob and Betty Newbie's daughter? Probably everyone knew that. I didn't. You would think I would know considering how many years I have been playing these games, but I'm so out of the loop with this stuff. But yeah, Brandy Broke is Bob and Betty Newbie's daughter. So she was originally Brandy Newbie. I think that's so cute. And I wanted to bring Bob and Betty Newbie back into my Sims 4 game. I've brought a lot of Sims 2 Sims back into my game, like the Dreamers, the Pleasants, the Newbies, the Oldies, probably some that I can't, Bachelors, and then also some from the Sims 3 games as well. So eventually, when I actually get around to bringing out like the first version of this save file, there's going to be a lot of Sims 2 Sims in my save, which I'm really, really excited for, because I love to see Sims that I've made and Sims that I recognise walking around on the streets. Like townies in The Sims 4 drive me insane. They're just so like mismatched, and there's like they use so many random things when they're generating townies that they just don't look right. And I know you can use mods to sort of, you know, calm that down a little bit, but anyway, yeah, there's lots of Sims 2 and Sims 3 families in the first version of my save file, which is going to be like mostly Willow Creek and Oasis Springs. So if you're interested in seeing that, then that will be, it won't be soon, but it's on its way. It's coming. It's on its way. So we've just moved upstairs now. I've put some of these security cameras around the floors just to give it a little bit more realism. Each of the top floors of this build have tiny little balconies. One on this side, on the left hand side here, is overlooking the pool, and then the other ones are sort of on the back of each of the rooms. There's not really much room to put anything out there. Like maybe you could squidge a plant out there, or a gardening pot, or a chair or something, but other than that, they're more so just to add a little bit of design to the build, because I found that when even though I was decorating the front of this build, the back was basically just flat walls. And if you know me at all, you will know that flat walls are like, I hate them. I feel like I need bump outs on walls, and I feel like I need things to make things look more interesting. Flat walls to me are, flat walls in normal, like real life houses, they're expected. Like not every wall has windows on it. Like my driveway up to my house, no chimneys, no nothing. But in The Sims, it just doesn't look right to me. So yeah, you will notice I popped a few little balconies just to add a little bit of definition to the outside of these properties. So just talking a bit more about this room, again, like I said before, they follow a very sort of continuous pattern. Oh look, there's that sofa that I said I'd used a million times. It's there again. Sorry. Feel free to switch those sofas out. I didn't realise how much I was using them. So going back to speaking about the upstairs rooms now, I've gone back once again to that sort of run-down, ragged look in these rooms. There's stains on the kitchen floor, and if anyone has linoleum floors in their house, they will know that stains are so difficult to get off. So I wanted to depict that maybe the tenant or even a previous tenant may have spilt something on the floor and stained it. And of course I've used that same sort of damp looking wallpaper in the rooms as well, along that edge of the skirting board. Just to keep that theme going. The furniture again is really rusty and old, probably needs replacing, but I would guess that whoever really owns this place probably isn't really interested in keeping it nice, just as long as the rent's being paid, I guess. And maybe the tenants don't have enough money to sort of replace their items either. So on this upstairs floor, there's another 4 rooms, the same as downstairs. 2 of these rooms are decorated and 2 have moving boxes in. Like I mentioned earlier, this unit I believe is the one that has the single bed in it rather than the double. So the room is kind of small and there's not really much. I mean, you could fit a double bed in there if you wanted, but I went for a single bed just, you know, in the event that you've got like a single parent or something in here, then they'd be able to squidge a toddler bed or a crib in here as well. So just finishing off a few of the smaller decorative items on the fridges and some shoes underneath that console table there, and just bringing everything together in this room. So there's that single bed just going in this room now. I feel like we don't have many beds that look kind of run down and like ragged and like overused. I mean, we have those ones from Eco Lifestyle that are on, like, we've got like the mattress bed, I guess, and the bed that's got like those stone blocks underneath it. They may be the same thing, I'm not sure, but I feel like we need more beds that are just like look like beds. They don't have to be like on stilts or cinder blocks or whatever, but I just feel like we need to have a few more that are maybe like just overused. Like maybe one of the legs is broken, or one of the top bits is broken off, or maybe there's a slat sticking out of the wall, you know, like subtle ways of showing that these items are overused. Or a good idea that I'd like in the future games is maybe sort of some sort of system where, I know things can get overused now when they get to the point where they're broken, but maybe we could have a system where things get overused. Like even like the luxury items, you can see over time that they get a little bit more, like maybe freezers get a bit more iced over, maybe fridges need a good clean out, maybe there's rusts that are forming in the corners, maybe, you know, little scratches on items. Like in The Sims 3, I think it was, when animals used to scratch at furniture, it didn't just used to be nothing there. And I don't know if this is the same for pets now, but back in The Sims 3, they used to have actual scratch marks, like usage marks on furniture. So you'd have to go around and repair the furniture. I feel like that would be a good thing to add into this, just to make furniture be a little bit more realistic and go with that little bit further with the realism of this game. So we're on to the second apartment now. This apartment is sort of a mix between rundown and not. I feel like the tenant that lives here, the idea I had in my head was this was an older lady that lived here. Like maybe she lost her husband and, you know, maybe her family don't have room for her, so she's had to move into a hotel, which is a bit sad, but she's made it her own, you know. She's put her decorations on the walls and her cookbook in the kitchen and her sconces up on the walls, and she's really made it her own and tried to make it look as homey as she possibly can. So there's those sconces going up there, and I got a bad feeling that I have used that sofa again. We'll see in a minute if I actually do. I'm pretty sure I have. I'm going to put some shelves up on these walls. I felt like these were maybe her grandchildren or her descendants or something of her family, and I just popped those on the shelf there as well. I tried to use the tool mod to sort of look like they were leaning on the shelf rather than just being bolt upright, but I couldn't quite get it to work, so I left it as they were. I think it still looks like they're sitting on the shelf. So for the remainder of this video, we have this is the final room that I believe is decorated, and then the final two rooms are rooms with just moving boxes in, but they are decorated with carpets and wallpaper. And then downstairs we've got the reception area to do, but I'm going to leave this voiceover here. I don't want to repeat myself too much, so I'm going to leave this voiceover here. If you want to stick around to the end of the video, there's a few shots of like the finished build along with a bird's eye view as well, so you can see the sort of layout of the build. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you would like to, there's no obligation. If you would like to, please give this video a like, comment down below on any of the topics that we've discussed in this video, and subscribe if you enjoyed it. I will be back next week with another speed build. See you later, guys.